hmm Winnie the Pooh? Yeah. Winnie the Pooh's Christmas. Pooh and friends come up short. Of presents, but still find big surprises in their stockings. Yeah. I remember Winnie the Pooh, Heidi. Yes. When we were living at the Guma San Jose. Yes. There were numerous kinds of dilapidated buildings across the street from the Guma San Jose. And there was an individual, I think his name was Smokey. Yes. He got involved with a woman and they decided to get married. Well, living in Guam, one of the traditional garbs was to put a towel around your naked body and carry well, it's kind of like one of these large knives. Yes. hmm Um, it has a name. They use it to cut down different types of weeds. Yes. It's a really large knife. Well, what happened was I was standing outside the homeless shelter, and I think his name was Smokey. Yes. He approached me in his towel and had one of these, maybe probably 2 foot long knife. It was a large knife. Yes. His wife had upset him. Of course, there's probably the alcoholism. Yes. And he decided to run after his wife and cut her arms off. Now I looked at him and I said, "You really shouldn't do that. It's against the law to remove the various body parts of your spouse." It was somewhat tribal. Yes, it was. But there was this idea that my wife had purchased a large number of Micronesian skirts so that she could be very Micronesian when we were there at the homeless shelter, and I thought it was somewhat interesting that she wanted to integrate herself into that culture. Yes. Now, I just mention this because there are some spiritualities and some religions that are very much different than Christianity. And I thought it was so good that she had embraced those Micronesians that we were living with at that Guma San Jose. Yes. Nothing like seeing my good Christian wife wearing one of these, well, they were really Micronesian skirts. Yes. Black and yellow. Oh, oh, oh. Now, I did try to explain to Pastor Greg Miller that the spirituality of some religions are very different than Christianity. I remember a lot of the individuals that we lived with there. Seemed to me that Heidi really, while homeschooling, yes, oh, had had wanted to embrace the other cultures of Guam. Now, as a husband, I need to be somewhat concerned about the spirituality of my family. Do you remember living at the Guma San Jose? did did something happen while I was away every day trying to find a place for us to live? And do, do you remember all the people that used to live there? Quite an eclectic group of individuals, really. Now, maybe Guam remembers the arrest that took place at the Guam Airport Hotel. Ouch. Where my wife called the police at 7 a.m. on July 2nd of 2011. You put me in jail. Yes. Because of a false police report of domestic violence, child abuse, assault. Ouch. And I thought the same day that my wife had me arrested, she had left the island territory of Guam. Did you did you sew into any of the individuals that were living at the Guma San Jose? Do you remember all the different people that were living there? It was a homeless shelter for not just families. Right. There were a lot of single individuals, a lot of single women and single men too. And was there anybody that you sewed into right now? Oh, now it wasn't a prison, Jessica. It was a homeless shelter. We were moved from Cliff's house to a homeless shelter. Yes. We lived there for 2 months. Yes. Then we stayed at an apartment. Yeah. And then we lived there for another 2 months. It wasn't a show. It was a homeless shelter. It was a homeless shelter. Now, somehow, somebody had been convinced that we're making movies that I couldn't see. Yes, where I was the star of the show. Oh, and of all the places that I went that I actually signed any document wanting to rent a place, did you think it was domestic violence or child abuse to live in a homeless shelter? It was a homeless shelter. We moved to the Guam Airport Hotel after our 2 months was up. That happened to coincide with when we got our tax refund. Yes. And somebody was living in this imaginary dream world of the virtualized individuals that thought they were making a show. Now, when my wife took my sons, yes, and moved back to Clallam County, yes, did anybody get paid to make any shows? Yes. Do you know what I'm talking about? Well, these are individuals that have quintuplets. Yes. 5 children and 4 children at a time. Yeah. Now, just so that I understand exactly, how long has this been going on that you've been making twins, triplets, quintuplets? You've been making 5 or 6 of yourselves? Yes. I mean, exactly how many lookalikes are there of each and every American citizen? I wasn't in Squim, and my mother had paid individuals to play the part of Paul C. Budnick. Yeah. They committed crimes, and you arrested me for the crimes when you did have the evidence I wasn't there. Yes. And my relatives paid for June 16th of 2017, my wife's 47th birthday. Yes. Was it the look-alike, or was it my actual wife that accused me of cyber stalking and being in Jefferson County? Is there anybody that has the evidence? How long you been making shows? Entertaining yourself at the pain and suffering of innocent people? Yes. Well, you just do not realize how criminal this is. Yes. The false accusations. Yes. The use of Pastor Greg Miller in the public court record. Oh. The use of Pastor Mike Van Proyen in the public court record. See, if I find Mike Van Proyen's name in any public court record as Pastor Mike Van Proyen, yes, I'm going to sue this county for refusing to obligate the church to separate from the state. Now, pastor, yes, pastor. Right now! It was a homeless shelter. I spent every day trying to find a place for our family to live. Yes. While at the same time, my wife was using my sons to make movies. Do you know what I'm talking about? Now, if you're a sheriff in the United States of America, I want you to. Did you get paid to make a show? Where you said I was someplace when I wasn't there? Did you get paid to make any twins, triplets, quadruplets, or any number of lookalikes? Is there somebody that said, well, I'm Heidi Lee Budnick? Oh, but they weren't. Of all the individuals on Guam that do remember the Guma San Jose, do any of you remember when Paul and Heidi Budnick lived at the Guma San Jose? Is there any documentation that we were staying in a homeless shelter? Yes. And you said I was delusional for knowing. Exactly what was the reason for issuing a court order? I didn't realize we were living in a homeless shelter. I didn't understand that I was trying to find a place for us to live on Guam. That I left my 5 sons with my wife every day. Yes, you did. So that she could homeschool them. Yes. And then you said I was what? Schizophrenic. Bipolar? Persecutory, delusional. for knowing I was in Port Angeles on December 31st of 2015. I was in Port Angeles on June 16th of 2017. Yeah. I've been emailing the police department for 4 years, since November 20th of 2015. Yes. And your answer, yes, is what? I'm crazy. Really? Is that the answer today, Chief of Police? There's some reason why I can't speak to Marilyn Van Proyen. Yes. You have a really good reason. Yes. Why you don't have to enforce my civil rights. Yes. There's some evidence.